Let's talk about those tens of millions of dollars that Donald Trump raised after the election and before January 6th, meant to fight voter fraud in the courts and meant to support the Republican incumbent senators in Georgia, both of whom lost. Donald Trump spent none of that money on the things he claimed he was raising the money for. And of course, anybody who looked at the fine print, as we did, would have predicted exactly this. $76 million Donald Trump raised for what ultimately was a slush fund, claiming I need the money to challenge the results of the election. I need the money to make court filings. I need the money to help Republicans win in Georgia so that Republicans maintain control of the Senate. But through the end of 2020, not a dime was spent on those causes. Maybe we don't yet have reporting for Q1 spending. Maybe in those first 5 days of January, Trump spent some of the 76 million on the things he promised to spend it on. I doubt it. A Republican familiar with the fundraising operation said, quote, he put nothing back. He didn't care. He put all this money in the bank for his own legal fights. He never cared about Georgia's races. But not only that, he didn't even spend the money on vote challenges. And if you recall, back when Trump was doing this, we showed you the fine print, which said, depending on which fundraising scheme we were talking about, 50% or even more of every dollar raised could go towards the Trump campaign general fund to pay off Trump's campaign debt. He said it. I mean, listen, he said it in a deceptive way in the fine print, sort of like a software end user agreement that's 30 pages long that nobody reads, right? I mean, but he did do it. And we were reporting it and it was reported. So completely predictable that this is exactly what was going to happen. Jason Miller was asked, what happened, Jason? Where did the money go? And Jason Miller so far has not responded for comment. Now, the truth is Trump may well need this money for his own legal defense. And I think it's absolutely disgusting that he's taking advantage of his own supporters who he clearly never cared about as people. But ultimately, it's scammers and more scammers and more scammers taking advantage of people who are often scammers in their own ways, people who were delighted to be bamboozled by Trump in 2016 and wanted to continue believing that Trump was somehow going to figure out something, even though he lost the election. These were the perfect marks to be bamboozled in this way. And ultimately, the money is going to the Save America Leadership Committee of Trump. This is nothing more than a slush fund where the money can be used for just about anything Trump wants. If Trump wants to pay himself a salary out of this money, he could do it. And it is unbelievable that these folks fell for it hook, line and sinker, despite the fact that we were widely reporting that this is exactly what was going on. Now, when you say these people fell victims to a scam and we should feel bad for them, I don't know about that. It is these folks who say we don't need a nanny state government. We don't need the government protecting everybody from everything all the time. These are adults in the end. These are adults who presumably voted for Trump in 2016 and or 2020. These are adults who, despite the fact that there was no evidence, they fell for the idea that Trump actually won and Joe Biden didn't. They fell for, look at everything that they believed. At some point, do they have any responsibility themselves to figure out what's true? They fell for the lie that donating to Trump might actually change the results of an election, even though the election, everything was happening on schedule. They said, December 14th is going to be delayed, and it wasn't. And then January 6th was going to be delayed, and the riots delayed it by a couple of hours, and it wasn't. And then the inauguration's not going, and it did. They fell for it all. Do they really deserve now to be bailed out from the fact that they were scammed? Not according to their own political philosophy, which is no nanny state government, none of this stuff. So everybody but his cult knew this would happen. It's hard to even call them suckers because they were so willing. I don't want to call it Stockholm syndrome. I don't know what to call it. but I have a hard time now feeling as though they need to be bailed out in some way, because Trump put it at the bottom of the emails. It's how Trump governed. This was the administration, the scam administration from day one. And these people got exactly what they voted for, which is Trump ending up with, I believe it's the 76 million. I think it's 45 million in some kind of joint rate fundraising account. And then the other 31 million in that Defend America, Save America thing that Trump himself controls. So, Trump is going to do fine financially, very clearly. A lot of those folks who donated money that they probably couldn't even really afford to donate may now have serious financial troubles, but they have only Trump and their own ignorance to thank for that. Later, by the way, we will talk about other scams that continue to fester related to this administration. But the question I have for you, I want to hear from you on Twitter, where you can find me at @Pakman. Should we feel bad for these people who were swindled by Trump's fundraising to the point that somebody should bail them out? I believe the answer is no. I'm willing to hear other ideas. Find me on Twitter @DPakman. One of our sponsors today is Magic Spoon. The reason I'm such a fan of Magic Spoon is they allow me to enjoy the delicious breakfast cereals I loved as a kid without all the sugar and without the unhealthy ingredients, because Magic Spoon makes breakfast cereal that you really can't tell apart from those tasty sugary cereals that we all know. But each serving of Magic Spoon has no sugar, 3 net carbs, and 11 grams of protein. So it's perfect for someone on a low carb keto diet, just anybody trying to eat healthier and cut back on the sugar. You can choose from cocoa, frosted fruity, cinnamon, blueberry, or peanut butter. They all taste amazing. And Magic Spoon now lets you create your own customized variety pack with the flavors you choose. They really do stand by their product and will refund 100% of your money if you don't love it. No questions asked. Go to magicspoon.com/Pakman to build your own custom variety box today. Make sure to use promo code Pakman to get free shipping. The link is right underneath this video.